Hello, my soul-led friends. I hope you are doing well. Welcome in to your business block pick a card reading. We are going to look at what your business blocks are, why they are there, and how to navigate them, or how to work through them, how to unblock yourself. If you're ready to jump into it, all of the timestamps for each one of the readings today are in the description box, along with anything you'd like to know about me, my channel, my services, or to sign up to my newsletter. Please take whatever resonates here and ignore what does not. These readings are here to offer you insight and not instruction, so please use your discernment to navigate your situation as you see fit. If you feel inspired and inclined, I would love a comment, a subscribe, and a like on this video if your reading resonates. It helps me connect with your energy and lets me know you are enjoying this content. So if you are still here and would like a close-up of all of the cards and the crystals before you jump into your reading, let me do that right now. So for reading number 1, we have Happy Happy with the rainbow obsidian. For reading number 2, we have Go the Distance with the Desert Rose Quartz. And for reading number 3, we have A Fork in the Road with the Dragon Stone. So when you feel ready, use your intuition to choose the reading that is calling to you the most. Then head into the description box to find the timestamp for that reading, and we will see you there. Hello, reading 1. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Happy Happy card with the rainbow obsidian. Now I'm getting an interesting read on this, intuitively speaking. There's a feeling that nothing can go wrong, that there's an optimism here that can't be shaken. And I think that's a lovely thing, to have that optimism, to see the silver lining, but there's almost a darkness to that as well. There's also an element of people-pleasing coming through with this. Now, no judgment, but there's this feeling like you are trying to appease to a large or broad audience, and there's like a resistance to tension or conflict. So you might make changes within the business. Maybe you're worried about rocking the boat and you want to make sure that everyone is happy. And this could very well be the reason for a specific type of block in your business. I'm not really sure. You could also be in a very good place at this time, which is maybe why you came to this reading. But also, this could be a destination that you're wanting. So take whichever message there resonates. So we're going to hop straight into the tarot and ask reading 1, their blocks. You could be one to want to make friends with all of your customers or your clients. Again, this isn't a bad thing. This isn't a judgment or something to be shamed of, but there may be a point at which you might have to have like an opinion or a stance about something so that you can really attract the clients and customers that will appreciate and value your services. We'll see what comes out. Okay, reading 1, what is their block? See? What is happening? This is the happily ever after card in the tarot. This is the 10 of Cups. So I think you're trying to build community. You're trying to find community, but at the same time, you might be trying to please everyone in order to do that. So there's this broad brush stroke that I'm feeling that you might be doing. And why is this a block? Okay, and one more for how to navigate. Oh, you got two. Okay. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Oh my goodness. I think you know this. I think you already know. If you're here, I think you already know what I'm gonna say. And then the Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck there. Okay. So I kind of got that optimism at the very beginning. I also got this appeasement with the Ten of Cups of trying to please a lot of people so that you can build your community. I think that might do a disservice because I don't think you want everybody to be a part of your community. I do feel that intuitively you know who your community is. And I think you might need to consider that or explore that on a deeper level. I think this is a block because you want to heal a lot of people. You might be in the healing industry, you might be in the wellness industry, you might even be a tarot reader or a psychic or something. So you want to offer people peace and solace, and everybody needs and wants that. So, of course, there's this big broad brush stroke to cater to anyone who needs that. But I do think there's a need to be more specific, because by having such a broad, wide net, I think you might really miss the mark with the people who actually need your services. Now, this may require you to come out and share that your services might be specifically for healers, for people in the wellness industry, for those who are psychic in nature. I feel like there needs to be a decision at some point on which way to go. Like I don't think this is a thing you can really sit on the fence about. This is something that you have to be very discerning about, but also very clear about, so that your audience knows who you are, who you serve, why you serve them. And this might create some kind of inner tension within you, but you have to be okay with not being likable to everyone. So that may be a fear that's coming up, and why there is a need to possibly make everyone happy or build a community for everyone, because you feel that a lot of people need this service and you don't want to create any tension and conflict, because it kind of goes against everything that your business stands for. Maybe your business stands for peace and respite. So by saying this is who I am and this is who I serve, you almost feel like you're eliminating certain people. But I think there's a way to structure it so that you can welcome anyone so long as they align to a certain criteria. So is it people that are looking to connect with their intuition? Is it people who are looking to find more balance in their life? People who feel lost or are healing specifically from a type of situation? So I think there's a specificity that needs to come in to this so that you can narrow it down just a little bit. Let's get a little more information. What is this Ten of Cups? Ace of Wands in reverse. We have the Temperance, yes, with the Four of Swords. And what is this Five of Swords? And High Priestess. Okay, that was actually upright when it flipped out, but it did turn in reverse. So the Three of Cups, yeah. There's definitely a feeling of wanting to befriend people, right? Three of Cups is this energy of connection and networking and and friendliness and friendship and kinship and common ground. But I think this might get you to a point at some point down the line where you have to choose who you cater to. Now, that could be because you have so many in your community that you're not really sure how to help everyone. So that could be another energy for some as well, where you have to get more specific because you simply don't have the capacity to help everyone. So a decision might need to be made, and some people might feel rejected or hurt or not included or something like that, which you might have to be okay with for a time, because you only have so much time, energy, and capacity to help. Now, with the 10 of Cups and the Ace of Wands in reverse, this definitely feels like helping too many will block movement and will possibly exhaust you before you get started. So you may not be able to build the community in the way that you like because your energy is spread too thin. So that's something to consider. Maybe there's multiple ways in which you can help a community, and you're unable to know where to start because of that. So that's part of your block, is that you might have a tough time initiating or getting this business off the ground because there's a lack of specificity. And with this Four of Swords paired with the Temperance, I just think this clarifies really wonderfully the energy that came through, is that you want to offer a sense of peace and solace for the highest good of all. But not everybody might want or require your help, even though they might need it or benefit from it. So it's, again, really coming into this energy of finding that balance, of having patience in this process to figuring that out. This definitely feels like a higher calling. It definitely feels like a divine calling with the Temperance and the Judgment here. So with the King of Pentacles paired with the Five of Swords, this is really knowing your values and acting upon them, really focusing on them. Your values might give you a really strong indication of who to serve, why you're serving them, and how you can serve them. And when tensions do arise at some point, maybe within yourself or in the external world, you'll know your why, you'll know your focus, you'll know the bigger picture idea of why you're focusing here, why you're taking action and investing your time and energy and money in this thing, because there is a higher purpose. And it transcends all of this conflict that you might be feeling within you or in the external. And I do think that using your intuition here is going to be super important. And listening to the higher calling and not doubting that, really trusting this intuition of serving people, of maybe uplifting a certain group of people because they might need it the most. And I'm not sure what that means and how to apply that. That will be different for everyone. But naturally, when you hone in and focus on a certain value, a certain mission, a certain purpose, and spend your time in those areas, other things are going to fall away. It's a natural thing because, again, you are limited in your time, energy, and maybe monetary investment until such time that you can see growth in that business and can hire consultants or other people to assist and expand. So helping everyone isn't possible is the overall message, but it's also the block to seeing movement, maybe initiating your business or having some project get off the ground, is that the energy is spread too thin right now. So you have to narrow it down just for now. to be able to get really definitive about who you'd like to serve first, why you're serving them, and how you want to serve them. And if you would like to work through that, I have a brand foundations kit, which is a worksheet, essentially a PDF worksheet that you can purchase. And there's a lot of prompts and information in that PDF that can help you unearth that. So you can be really clear and you can have it on record for reference as you are making decisions and unfolding things in your business. So if that is of interest to you, then click on the link in the description box for that Brand Foundations Clarity Kit. And hopefully that gives you a little bit of further guidance along this journey. I want to get final cards for you for reading number 1, final guidance. Final guidance. Okay. So we have go with the flow, letting go, cleansing, and receiving. It's very divine feminine energy, and it's also very temperance energy as well. With this Nadalis shell that we see on her crown here, it's very symbolic of growth. It is a creature that grows into all of these compartments and gets a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger. And so there's growth over a period of time, essentially. And in that process, it kind of lets go of the previous chamber. It blocks itself from the previous chamber to grow into the bigger one, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of what I'm feeling with this, is that it's kind of going with the flow to where you're guided to go first and let go of the rest. To receive possibly divine inspiration or guidance as to where you feel you can serve best or what excites you the most. And go with that flow for a time to see where it takes you. Decisions may need to be made along that process, but again, it's tapping into that mission, purpose, the values, etc., to help you along that journey. And so being really clear with that will help. And then there is balance, stability, and standing firm, which is this King of Pentacles. And we have a number 4, which is a card of stability. It's a card of foundations. So I think having really strong foundations will help provide balance and stability as you move through these business blocks. So I hope these messages were helpful for you, my dear reading 1. Let me know if they were. And until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon. Hello, my reading number 2. Welcome in. You chose the Desert Rose Quartz with the Go the Distance card. There is a feeling of speed here, naturally, with the cheetah. And it's almost like your desire to get to your destination, there's an impatience that's coming through right now, is part of your block. So there's maybe some shortcuts that you want to take, or maybe you're trying to implement tips or tricks to try to get to your destination faster, maybe find some efficiencies, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when that is leaned upon as a strategy, then you might not see the results that you are looking for necessarily. So speed could be an issue here. There could also just be an overdrive of ambition as well, which again, not a bad thing, but when it gets put to the extreme where we're so ambitious about something that we're not stopping to look around to see if it's working or not, or if we're going in the right direction, then that's when it can become a hindrance to our success or to reach our goals. And then essentially it becomes a block. So let's take a look at the tarot. Let's get right into it. For reading 1, please. Or pardon me, reading 2. Reading 2. Go the distance. I do feel like there's a commitment here. I love that commitment, especially in business. It's definitely required for the long term. Something about losing sight of your goals as well. Again, coming back to that speed and impatience. So, speed and impatience. Here we go. We're starting out with the Knight of Swords. And this is part of your block. So, because this is Capricorn energy, it's kind of earth and air, it's kind of being really firm and grounded and fixed and nose to the grindstone, but almost to a detriment. There's an impulsivity with this, there's a speed with this, and you can see on the horse's face, like, kind of terrified. So again, it just mirrors this card pretty much exactly. And what's interesting is that this card is facing this way, towards a goal, towards a finish line, and this one is facing backwards. So I'm getting a confirmation of that message of the fact that you're going so fast that you might miss on something, or miss out on something, or realize you're not on the right path, or aligning to your goal in some way. So I think that's being repeated here with this Knight of Swords. So it's like a think first, or act first, think later. And I'm not really sure why that impatience is a thing, my dear reading 2. Maybe you'll have to ask that question for yourself. But let's look at why this Knight of Swords is a block. Let's get your final card on how to move through this, and then we'll talk about it. You're trying to find fulfillment here. Okay, yep. You're trying to find what fulfills you. Because right now I don't think that you are feeling very fulfilled. And again, we have the Knight of Cups, which is another knight, another card of movement. But this time it's movement with the heart rather than with the mind, with the logic, with speed. This one's a little bit more intentional. This one's a little bit more flowy. But in the reverse, you know, the cup gets turned over. And so there's a lack of fulfillment, maybe a lack of purpose, a lack of meaning, a lack of connection to why you might be doing this in this way. Now, Ace of Cups in the Y position tells me that you are looking for that fulfillment, so that is kind of confirmation of that. And you want to feel fulfilled, you want to go with the flow, you want to have some kind of emotional freedom, maybe even feel good about yourself, what you're doing, maybe feel proud. With this being a cup, it naturally makes me think of a trophy, so you want to achieve some kind of goal. But there's almost this sense that you're trying to move away from something. In this effort, you're moving with this block in place, you're moving away from something rather than towards something. So it's almost like your why needs to be reevaluated. And I say that because in the how position, we have the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is about stopping to put yourself in an uncomfortable position so that you can see something from a new perspective. That might mean an actual stoppage of movement within your business to be able to look at the details of why am I feeling impatient? Why am I reacting or acting this way? Why am I implementing these strategies? Do they feel aligned? Do they feel heart-led? Do they feel fulfilling? Ace of Wands underneath that. So I do think you're going to find your inspiration again, but it's going to be different. So maybe there is a fear of things needing to change. For my business, that was the case. I wanted to go and go and go and not look around and not stop, because I knew that if I did and I put myself into this position, I would become enlightened about what actually wasn't working for me. And it was kind of a big deal. It meant a complete restructure of my business or how I was doing something. So that could be part of it. Let's get into some more details. Knight of Swords. The Devil in reverse. Ace of Cups. Yeah. I have a feeling there's going to be a direction shift if you do end up stopping to look around. And it's going to feel a little awkward. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's a lot of work too. So with the Devil in reverse at the Knight of Swords, this tells me that there's an attachment here you have about something that needs to be released. Possibly an unhealthy attachment. Maybe that's why you're taking this action, is that you're trying to detach yourself from something currently so that you can follow a more soul-led or heart-led business. So there's this impatience of let's go, let's make it happen, let's detach. I think the intentions are good here, but I think there's something that you're missing in the speed of it all. So in the Y position with the Ace of Cups, you have the Wheel of Fortune. This is a block because you know on an emotional level that there is going to be some changes. I think that just confirms that maybe you have to detach from something completely that you've done. There could be a habit here that you have to unwind or heal from in some way. So this Ace of Cups could be a healing. This could be a cleansing of something out of your life. Maybe it's emotionally overwhelming to some degree. Maybe there's a fear of facing emotions through this change as well. So by moving in a direction that isn't, I wouldn't say isn't quite right, but isn't 100% aligned, or maybe there's a speed at which you're doing something, you can deflect or ignore what needs to be addressed. Self-care is also the Ace of Cups as well. So maybe there's a neglect of self happening in this process. And something here might be telling you that something needs to change. Now, the Hanged Man with the Justice in reverse is that, again, you have to be okay in moments of, or you have to be okay putting yourself into positions of discomfort. So that might mean stopping. How does stopping feel for you? How does slowing down feel for you? How does following something with a little more, I don't know, care or attention or mindfulness, how does that feel for you? That's kind of what I'm feeling with this, is that you have to do something completely different in order to be enlightened about the next thing, or how to unblock yourself from this. And the Justice tells me that this is going to feel a little unfair, or you're going to feel like you're doing yourself or maybe somebody else a disservice. Maybe there's a fear of judgment of, if I do stop, if I do change direction, what does that say about me? Now, this Hanged Man is associated with the planet Neptune, and Neptune is all about shedding illusions. So there could be something quite deep being uncovered here in the slowdown, in the pause. in the delays. But what comes with that is a deeper self-awareness, a deeper knowledge or an understanding that you didn't have over here when you were kind of moving really quickly towards a goal or towards a destination. There's more awareness here. There's maybe a higher consciousness that comes through with that. And a letting go process that happens. Now, 10 of Wands in the upright tells me that you've definitely been working towards something. And again, you can see in this one that he's worked so hard and put so much effort in that he can't see where he's going. He's taken on too much. He's done too much. So it's time to relieve the burdens. You can go the distance, but I feel it has to be at a different pace. And there's some changes that you'll have to make in order to completely remove the blocks and move towards the destination that truly feels aligned with your heart. So you'll have to explore what that is, what those habits, behaviors, thought patterns might be, and also what you might be avoiding in the process of not slowing down, in the process of trying to move towards a goal really quickly. So let's get some final cards to end your reading. I hope this is resonating with you. And it's a bit of a tougher message than I want to deliver reading to. I'm sorry if this isn't the greatest of readings, but Spirit always delivers messages for the highest good. So I have to trust that it will find who needs to hear it and transform or inspire them in some way. And that's the goal. It's to help you align to your business with intention and with heart. One more, please. I laugh because the Divine Masculine came out in reverse, which mirrors that message of slowing down. Divine Masculine is an outward energy. It is an energy of work. It is an energy of initiation. I don't want to say aggression. It's not like aggressing against somebody, but it's about persevering. It's about doing. And it was in the reverse. So that just kind of tells me that part of your message is just being reflected here, is that it's time to not activate that. That it's time to almost put that to rest for a moment and step into receptive divine feminine, which is receiving, which is allowing, going with the flow. And that might bring up some discomfort, my dear reading too. So that is the work that I feel Spirit is asking you to consider. And not permanently. Pauses can be temporary. So death and rebirth, darkness to light. I do feel that there is transformation happening here, especially as it relates to this devil energy. I like that it's in reverse because it means that you know about it. Maybe you're not seeing it in the speed, but I feel you kind of know deep down that it's there and it needs to be addressed. And the death and rebirth card is this energy of transmutation, of taking that thing, of looking at it with great compassion, not personalizing it, but to really transmute it into light, to use it to your advantage, to understand it on a deeper level, to grow from it. And I feel these are going to be part of that is part of your block as well. Is there something that needs to be transformed so that you can take a new approach. You can move with a deeper understanding or with more heart, and maybe even with less effort as well, especially if you feel you're putting a lot of effort in and not getting where you need to go or are on the wrong path in some regard. This might be a time to pause, to transform something and let something go in that process so you can welcome and allow new things in. So this is what I have for you, my dear reading 2. I do hope these messages were helpful. Let me know if they were. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon. Hello, my reading 3. Welcome in. You chose the Dragon Stone with the fork in the road. You could be feeling confused about something right now. You could be at a fork in a road, quite literally, with your business, and that could naturally be a block because you're not really sure where to go and how to move and what to do next. This could be on the heels of some changes that you've experienced in your business, and it almost feels like you are attached to your business. So there's this fear of letting go, which is keeping you at that crossroads and in that indecision. So let's hop straight into the reading, and that might, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the messages today reflect that opening channeled message, or if there's something new that wants to come through. I'm not sure. So far, the readings have been quite aligned with the pile leader card, but let's see what your block is for reading 3. Okay, why is this a block? And how to navigate this block. Okay. The 8 of Cups on the bottom of the deck here. Yeah, I do feel like you're attached to this. There's a fear of abandonment. There's a fear of maybe not trusting the fact that you'll find what's going to fulfill you here. There's a lot of cup energy in this reading, so I think there's a lot of emotional attachment you have to things. Not a bad thing, that's just an observation here. And I think there's a lot of emotions involved. I think there could be a reevaluation of dreams and goals, which is why you're feeling this tension of, this thing's no longer aligned, but I have to move forward in a new direction and I don't know what that is. So again, that crossroads energy is coming through very strongly. I feel that you might be a little misaligned with your business at this time. There's a feeling of maybe falling out of love with that business, of not feeling emotionally connected to it, but still emotionally attaching to it because you've invested your time, your money, your energy into this. And so there's a part of you that doesn't want to let it go, but there's a part of you that knows something has to change or transform. And I think the reason why this is a block at this time is that you've done some healing. And maybe you don't know it. Maybe you have made a whole bunch of micro decisions in the past, and that has moved or shifted something within you. So I feel it's interesting. I feel like the healing, I don't want to say made you disconnect from your business, but kind of encouraged something new. And with this, how to move through it is there's this evaluation of diving into the subconscious to reconnect with what we find valuable, of what our values are, what our dreams are, what our desires are, and how to make choices based on those things. So there's a lot of emotional discovery and connection and disconnection happening here as it relates to your business. And it's all because of this healing. There's a new feeling coming in, some new thought processes coming in. And a release of restriction. So there's an integration that's happening, which is kind of having you fall out of line with the business, or maybe even a business partner. If you have a business partner, I think that your values have shifted. And this could be quite an emotionally intense time. So you could be in a moment of valley of despair or dark night of the soul, and you're questioning more than you ever have before. And it's because of this Three of Swords in reverse. You've had some kind of maybe trauma or heartbreak or heartache, maybe as it relates to the business, but I feel this is more personal. And because of which, it's changing how you see your world. It's changing how you show up. It's changing how you make decisions. And I think you're really on a quest to find what's going to fulfill you now, because all of a sudden the game has changed. So let's see. There's this desire to keep going and try again, because maybe with this new perspective or new feelings, or have sorted some things out, maybe maybe things can be different. Two of Cups. Why is this in reverse? Two of Cups for the what is the block. There could also be something specific within your business that needs to be addressed. So there could be a specific service or an offering that no longer feels aligned. I think you have to trust that. Maybe you feel like you're doing something alone too. So yeah, there's something about boundaries and cutting something out here with the Queen of Swords. I think whatever decision that you need to make, or the block is emotional in nature. And the block has something to do with having a deep knowing about something, or having the wisdom, but maybe this fear of disappointing people, maybe even disappointing a business partner. So maybe there is a desire to do something on your own, or maybe you have had to do something on your own, which has been quite isolating and difficult. But it may have prompted a lot of healing. So Ace of Wands in reverse with I just feel like the passion died with this. With this healing, something died. Something like the flame, the motivation flickered out. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, it might feel like a bad thing in this moment. It might feel like another blow to the heart. Because it's like, holy cow, like I feel better on an emotional level or a mental aspect. But I've lost all passion for this thing. I've lost all connection to this thing. And there's no desire to move forward with it. So it's like I kind of want to detach from it. I kind of want to do something different or In the how position, reviewing your goals, you're going to understand that you don't want to do something anymore. There's certain responsibilities or tasks that you have no more interest in doing. You've reached kind of the end point because you haven't been able to see where to go. So the only way to relieve that is to make the tough decision to let it go, to move away from it. And with this Queen of Swords in the upright at the bottom of the deck, it's almost like not using emotion to make the decision, using your intuition and your logic to make the decision. Because I feel you've done a lot of emotional introspection, and now it's time to apply that knowledge. It's time to apply what you've learned from a very clear and knowing place of trusting and knowing your truth. The Queen of Swords, she doesn't beat around the bush. She knows what she knows. And she can be very cold in a sense where she doesn't use emotion to make decisions. She is the Judge Judy of the tarot, where she takes in all of the information from a very non-emotional place, facts, figures, what's going on, what's my goal, what's my dream, is this aligned? Yes, no. And if it's not, then the decision is made. She takes that information to the king, and the king then executes that based on what he feels and what he knows. So the Queen of Swords is the receiver of information, somebody who makes it their job to understand without judgment, from a very logical and clear place. She's also good at setting boundaries and making rules. And boundaries aren't necessarily for the control of other people. Boundaries are for us, ourselves. So I think there's some clarity coming through here. You might feel stuck at an indecision or feel foggy about where you're going, but I think, just based on the cards that I'm seeing intuitively, looking at the only cards that are in the upright, you know, instinctually and very deeply, you know what decision is correct. So to move through the block, if you haven't done it yet, to explore your goals, your desires, your needs, your wants from a place where no one else has influence. So you're not thinking about what your business partner wants and what your customers want. I mean, first and foremost, I think you have to think of yourself in this situation so that you can realign. And that might be a slow process. That might be a slow unfolding. But I think there's some tasks that you need to evaluate, some responsibilities that might need to come off your plate for a time. And be okay exploring some other options, some other possibilities. Exploring what your truth might be from a place that is, outside of the influence of everybody else and everything else. It's not to say you won't eventually consider things, because the Queen does do that. She thinks about what her truth is, and then she gathers information to kind of help round that decision out. So I think you're in a moment of observation, you're in a moment of knowledge gathering, and it's all because of the healing that you've done. So, let's get some final cards. That's way too many. Final cards to end reading 3's reading. Shamanic journey, purpose, attunement, and vision quest. It's exactly what the 7 of Cups is. It's exactly what the 8 of Cups is. And attunement just makes me feel like the Queen of Swords, where you are attuning to something different here. You're attuning to something new. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be a new business completely. It could be for some, but it could just be a new offering where there's something that is less burdensome or something that's easier to execute or provide. You might be changing your product offerings to make it, I don't know, easier to ship, more streamlined, something like that. So it can and will range for everybody on what this is, but I really think you're attuning to some kind of new purpose here. Something that will feel more fulfilling for you based on this new healing that you've done, or the healing that you have done. And this vision quest, that's what that 8 of Cups is. It's like, when it's in reverse, there's this fear of leaving the comfort zone of what you know. In the upright, it's this going on this quest to find your fulfillment. And in the process, that means abandoning some things that you have emotionally invested in the past. And that can be a tough thing. let's see. But this guy ends up being the hermit in the end because he goes over these mountains and ends up finding his North Star, his wisdom, his purpose, kind of able to hear himself think, right? So there's that card again, friendship. So friendship and play might be really important in this journey, but I'm going to take the one that flies out on the table. There we go. Releasing of constraints. And I really feel that with all of the Saturn energy in the reverse, because these two are Saturn cards. And Saturn is an energy of, well, it's a planet of lessons. It is a planet of responsibility. And it is a planet of limitations and restrictions. And with this being a Saturn energy as well, it also being in reverse, this just tells me that there's a restraint. The restraints are being released because there's some lessons or knowledge or understanding that is happening in this space because of the effort that you're making to align with your truth or attune to your truth a little more. It's almost like something is being reprioritized here. And so while it may, the fork in the road and the disharmony that you might be feeling at this time might feel like a block, it's really a blessing because it is helping you see what needs to change. It is helping you connect with your own inner wisdom to move forward in a way that feels more aligned and attuned, which in turn will help release all kinds of restraints on your heart and your energy and your emotional body. So this is what I have for you, my dear reading 3. I do hope these messages were helpful. Let me know if they were. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon.